All right, I am live and soon to be with Dr. Jim Kelly, who is part of Valter Longo, his team for the fasting mimicking diet Prolone, which I'm going to discuss this evening. So this was a special video done for us so we have an understanding of some of the fasting options. We've talked a lot about water fasting. For years I've talked about partial fasting. What is the fasting mimicking diet? You're going to find out tonight from Dr. Jim. That's my wife Marilee peeping in there on the corner.
I was watching for him.
Yeah, so she is. He's going to be watching for Dr. Jim because I'm going to be inviting him on. Now you all know how the split screen goes, right? I mean, you know, with many people, it's a disaster. So, but tonight,
we're experts.
Tonight, well, yeah, we are experts, all right. But we're more experts in fasting. But Dr. Jim is definitely an expert in a fasting mimicking diet. Look, I'm doing this fast this time, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to have my wife scoot off and bring you one of my boxes because, you know, I've talked about actually doing a partial fast where anywhere between 500 to 800 calories a day is allowed on a partial fast. Seems a lot easier, doesn't it? Well, how about this? What if your food actually came in a box and was delivered to your door? Well, for that to happen, you actually have to order it this week. So I'll give you an incentive to do that. But look, I mean, you can choose any fast that we're doing here. And many of you are expert water fasters at this point that are joining us. We have over 12,000 of us. But I think some of you, especially you first-timers, are going to want to really listen closely to the fasting mimicking diet. I think it's the cool concept. I mean, you know, we've heard of like Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, right? And where they actually give you the box of food and how much more successful people are because they didn't have to think. Well, this is that, but way healthier, way healthier. But literally, your fasting comes in a box. It's in my office in that box in there, telling my wife where my food is. But anyway, so hopefully Jim, if Jim makes a comment, we can bring him on. Dr. Jim. And we actually have in our seminar, November 2nd through the 4th, practitioners that are watching, we will have actually the CEO of Dr. Valter Longo's company. And by the way, he was just granted some $40+ million in research. That's how important this topic is. This is some amazing stuff that we're learning about fasting. Dr. Valter Longo has been at some of the forefront of the research. So we sure do appreciate his group. I appreciate Dr. Jim coming on tonight and in teaching us more about what the fasting mimicking diet is and why it could be an option for you. So anyway, I'm looking for Jim. And by the way, oh, here he is right here. So let's click on that. Usually I have my son helping me, so I do get a little nervous. Jim, I do see your comment. Yes, it is in the right place. And I'm trying to, I'm not seeing how to invite you though. All right, so Jim's comment is here, but I'm trying to click on it to invite him.
He said.
Yeah, no, I see that, but how do I invite him? That's, Yeah, so it's so weird. It comes up different every time.
It usually gives you the option to invite him. Yeah. If he's a friend. Is he a friend on this site or this?
I'm clicking around on the phone. Yeah, well, Kyla, my team member, said he was a friend. So, and we know that would be the case. So. All right, while she's doing that, I'm going to actually show this. How cool is this? So each day, we have the boxes numbered. Here's day 1 of the fast. Can you see that? There it is, day 1, day 2, and of course, it goes through all 5 days. So you get a box like this. Look how cool the box is, actually. Really impressed. It says Prolone. Can you read that backwards?
Upside down.
How about upside down and backwards? Anyway, that's still probably backwards because we have the camera turned that way. But anyways, it comes with a really cool box and it says 5-day meal program. And there is all your food with each day. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, it makes my job a whole lot easier because half the time when I'm explaining a partial fast, I'm answering questions about what to eat. There's a science to this because, if you go over a certain amount of protein, it breaks the body out of autophagy. And I've had multiple conversations with Joseph Anton. He's the CEO of this company who will be speaking at the seminar. And that was actually one of my points on November 2nd through the 4th in Las Vegas, practitioners. And he says that they've dialed it in to very specific ratios, amino acids, everything within that food box. So a lot of studies have gone into this. So I have to take them at their word, but I'm going to try it. So kind of not taking them at their word, I'm trying it myself. I've done a lot of fasts. So, hey, Jim, what I'm going to do is try to refresh Jim now that I'm on, and it may come up as an invite. So that is one of the tricks that we have learned. So Jim, go in and then, or go out and then come back in. I'm going to, those watching, so tomorrow evening, I'm going to be talking about a very, very important concept. So in review, week 1, I did a video on getting fat adapted in ketosis. Go back and watch it if you haven't. Week 2, I talked about intermittent fasting, the #1 Google search term, right? Doctors, you need to be putting this stuff in your office because people want it and it works. Tomorrow evening, I'm going to be discussing diet variation, my feast famine concept that I talk about our platinum group of doctors who are trained in this. By the way, you don't want to fast without someone helping you, working with one of our trained practitioners. Great idea. You're going to meet some of those during the fast time as well. But the point is that diet variation, feast famine cycles, is a way for many of you to break through with fat adaptation. It's become a solution for people with thyroid conditions, adrenal issues who have trouble fasting, even intermittent fasting, women who have trouble with ketosis, low-carb diets, intermittent fasting. All of these people, this is an answer. It's an answer for anyone, even me, because it makes you that much more efficient. You'll figure out why this adaptation principle, where I call mitochondrial metabolic fitness, where we stress the cells in the mitochondria and you become more fat adapted. You develop better fat-burning mitochondria, better cells. So it's a principle, and I've talked a little bit about that principle, but this principle is based on adaptation, and ultimately you optimize your hormones to adapt to these changes. Really cool concept.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm working behind the scenes. Jim, you need to join from your personal account.
Well, that was the...
Can you go back in on a different account from your personal account and do it that way? Oh, I'm getting it.
Jim's like me. He's a doctor. He's not a tech guy. The poor guy, I know his pain. Now, what I can do is I can opt to Skype and bring Jim right up with Skype, which I could do in a second. So why don't we just do that, Jim, if you're listening. I will call you on Skype. I'm calling Jim on Skype. We're going to have him here in a second. All right, Jim, here we are. We had a plan B. I'm going to turn this light off. This is plan B.
Is this working at all?
It is. It's going to work. Look. See? All right. Perfect. See that? My son taught me this trick too. See, you got to have kids around the house, and I don't have kids here. Otherwise, you'd be on the Facebook split screen, but they're not here. All right. So anyways, I already introduced you. Let's go right after it, man. Fasting mimicking diet. I showed the box. I told these people that I'm doing this time. I'm really excited about it, actually. So tell them everything that you know about the fasting mimicking diet and who you are.
Yeah, so hi. My sincere apologies. I know that this is a little bit of a kind of an awkward way to do it. Thank you for everyone bearing with me. Can you hear me okay? Am I coming through all right?
Very good.
All right, yeah, and it's showing, by the way, that I did get finally accepted on your page, so I don't know if you want to try and bypass that and go back to the way we should be doing it. If you want to see if there's now an option.
Yeah, well, you know what? You could do this. You could have your wife like work on that, and my wife can invite you while we were just talking. So have them work on that. We'll just multitask, man. This is what Facebook Lives are, Jim. You just kind of wing it, you know.
I'll roll with it. That's fine. As long as so I can't really see what anybody's. I mean, I'm kind of following along on the Facebook, but still not seeing it. Okay, yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Try and do both.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let me give you guys and chime in. Let me know if you can't hear me or anything. But I'll give you guys a basic overview of what exactly I am and who we are and what we do. So I am the medical science liaison for Nutra, who is the makers of Prolon, the world's first and only fasting mimicking diet. I've been here since the beginning of the launch. I was originally the chief operating officer and chief medical officer and transitioned into this role. My background, I am an MD, MBA, trained in family med, sports med, and did not practice. And then I've been with the company for about 4 years, but I actually wrote the business plan for the longevity centers in 2011 when I was finishing my MBA at USC. I got to know Dr. Longo, and that was really my first foray into fasting. And fasting mimicking diets and what the research is. So, but since then, I have been working very closely with most of our healthcare practitioners to help train clinicians and help people understand how the diet gets used. So I'm the main resource. If you do have any questions about this, I'm probably one of the very few people on the staff that's going to be the one answering your emails. So, or your phone calls, which I will be happy to provide, by the way, during this conversation. I'll put that in the little chat if anybody wants to reach out to me afterwards. But so I will tell you a little bit about the diet and why we think it works and what evidence we have for it. So I understand that most of you in here are somewhat seasoned fasters, and you've done fasting of varying lengths, whether it be intermittent fasting, prolonged fasting, or even just time restricted to eating, like a 12 to 16 hour fast. So. But what Prolon is, it's based on your own body's ability to regenerate itself. Prolon was carefully studied over decades with tens of millions of dollars of federally funded grant money to validate that we can get the benefits of fasting without the hardship of having to go out entirely without food. So the first question is, why is fasting beneficial? And that's what our founder, Dr. Walter Longo, has most of his career. He looks very closely at the longest living populations and the blue zones, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, and has tried to figure out what about them makes them live so well. It looks like the video got paused.
Yeah, make sure Isaac's not on this game.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can still hear you perfectly.
Okay. On my side, it's showing the video. It says the video is interrupted. So
yeah.
As long as every broadcast. That genetically they all kind of share some similarities around their insulin-like growth factor 1, but we also looked at things like yeast and mice, and we found out that there are these pathways in everybody that are conserved, that when you stress the body enough, these pathways turn on and they put the cell in sort of a protected state. And when it goes into this protected state, some really cool things happen. The first thing that happens is it turns off growth, because growth is sort of a waste of energy when you don't have any new resources coming in. The next thing that it does is decrease inflammation, because again, it's a waste of resources and you just want to optimize. But the last thing and the most beneficial thing it does is it does a cellular diagnostic. So every cell in your body gets a signal that says, take a look at yourself. Are you healthy, or do you need to be repaired or replaced? And the words that most people are probably familiar with these days, autophagy is a buzzword that's kind of buzzing around lately. What it means is literally self-eating, autophagy.
Yep.
And what happens when the cell goes into autophagy is if parts inside of it are broken, they get dissolved and rebuilt so they're brand new. If the cell is too broken, it goes through apoptosis, or programmed cell death. And when it does that, it sends out a signal, or at least we believe it does, that calls for a new stem cell to replace it. So in fasting for just a couple days, it takes about 48 hours to really start this process, which is one of the reasons why Prolon is 5 days long. The first 2 days are just getting into the cleanup mode. Once you activate that, and other things happen too, like ketosis and a couple other things. Once you get into that cleanup mode, you're going to, sorry, I got another call. I'm the medical science liaison, so I get a lot of phone calls. But when you go into that mode, the body will essentially call for all these stem cells. By day 2 to 3, it starts to ramp up. Autophagy and apoptosis occur on day 2 through 4, about 48 to 96 hours into a fast or into a fasting mimicking diet. And then by day 5, your stem cells in your bloodstream are about 800% higher than they used to be. Can you guys hear me, by the way? Is everything coming through? Yeah. All right, just double checking. So that 800% increase in stem cells is something that we showed very clearly in all of the subjects we looked at, but it's a very tough test to do at home. In fact, they don't have any way to do it. It's very labor intense and very expensive. So there really is we're still working on home lab tests for that. So at the moment, we have a bunch of really good scientific evidence that shows that the body goes through all these changes, but it's a little hard to validate in the home sector. So that's something we're working on. But what we see very clearly in mice, where we can do fairly invasive testing, we see autophagy and apoptosis absolutely occurring midway through the fasting mimicking program, stem cells going way up towards the end, and then when you feed them again, stem cells go down and organs get larger. So the stem cells are very, very likely going to do organ tissue. So that's why we say regeneration and rejuvenation. In just 5 days, you're going to delete a huge amount of your damaged, dysfunctional tissue and repair it or replace it with a brand new stem cell, which is really what the interesting thing about a prolonged fast is. Now, the only difference between a prolonged fast and Prolon which is literally prolonging longevity, that's why the name is Prolon. The difference is that with a 5-day fast, during the first 2 days before you get fully into gluconeogenesis and ketosis, there's evidence that you lose a tremendous amount of lean body mass. And with Prolon, we preserve lean body mass. Any fast of any kind or any restricted diet is going to lose a little muscle, but with Prolon, we preserve a huge amount because we're giving the body energy during a fast. So we're just below the levels that trigger your growth pathways, but we're above the level where your body would start hunting for energy in muscles. So we help preserve muscle mass while allowing you to get the benefits of that fast. But the main thing that's easier about Prolon is that it's easier. We're giving you something to eat. So we wouldn't exist if people didn't find fasting challenging. Now, you guys are a seasoned group, so a lot of you know how to get through a prolonged water-only fast or something like that. Most people struggle with that. So Prolon just makes it easy. We've done all the research to validate that in humans this does exactly what we think it does, and it's very similar to a prolonged fast, but it has a lot of the benefits of being more convenient, easier. You can still go about your daily life. We've tried to take the guesswork out of it, and we've tried to make it manageable. And in the meantime, we've also tried to make it have delicious food. So if any of you have seen Prolon yet, you'll know what it is. But essentially, it's plant-based nutrition carefully formulated. So it's got a number of different soups, which were actually just reformulated and are now far better. It's got olives. It has kale crackers that have a bunch of plant nutrition powder packed in as well. So they're like 2 full servings of vegetables, basically. We get a lot of nutrition into a very small amount of food that we make feel like a lot more food. So the magic of Prolon is basically that it's essentially stealth food. We can give you real plant-based nutrition, plus snacks, plus drinks, plus multivitamins, plus dessert in some cases on some days, and you'll still be in essentially a fasting state. So that's sort of the brief overview of Prolon. I can go on for a very long
that's great.
time, but I want to be sensitive to everyone's time. So.
No, that's great. I mean, obviously, the question that you'll be asking is, my team will put up a link that you're able to order the food. And I know if you have to order it this week to actually make the September 23rd deadline, because they have to ship it to you. So my team told me, make sure you tell them, Dr. Pompa, they have to order it this week. And you get $25 off by ordering it this week. So incentive there as well. But they ship it What do you recommend, if anything? Does it matter?
So we include a little diagram in the box that shows how we recommend that you do it, just because it makes it easier. But if you want to eat, the way it's designed, because it's essentially stealth food, you can eat it all at one setting if you choose.
Yeah.
It's going to have the same impact on the body as if you ate it over 3 meals. Now, so it's basically all user preference. So if you want to consume it over 2 meals, that's fine. The card is just designed to give you guidance if you want to make it a normal 3 meals a day plus snacks plus drinks. So just to help you space it out to get through your day. For a couple reasons. One, when you exercise, you're using up what little ATP you have, so your body's going to go hunt for energy wherever it can find it. And muscles have a huge amount of glycogen storage in them, so one of the first places the body will look is the muscle. So if you work out, you may actually lose muscle mass. Yeah. We've also turned off IGF-1 during the meal program, so if you turn that off, you're not going to build new muscle anyway. So we recommend people take it easy, because we don't want them passing out on day 2 or 3 before they've fully converted over to gluconeogenesis and before they're feeling better. Day 2 and 3 tend to be the hard days. Yeah. But after that, it's pretty doable.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to work out, wait till day 5 when you know you made it.
Right, exactly.
But anyways, Anna, to your point, yes, we'll post the code that you can use to get the $25 off and the link to get the food. And then Jessica Klatt just commented, she can attest that the food is delicious. She's actually on an FMD, fasting mimicking diet prolonged fast right now. So awesome, Jessica, good timing, as she said. This is really good timing. So yeah, that's great. So yeah, we're excited. This is, sometimes, we have new people to this group, and I'll tell you, if this is your first fast, I would absolutely recommend this, because we're here to answer your questions, and we have the access of the entire scientific team at FMD at your fingertips. So I think this is the fast to do. Many of you may choose other fasts. I'll talk more about that at next week's video. But I think this is the way to go for you first timers, and like me, I fast all the time, but I'm super excited to try this, because I think, listen, I have to say, Jim, we as a group of doctors, we utilize all types of fasting, but I'll say this, these partial fasts and now the fasting mimicking diet, we couldn't do without it. It's a tool that some people just do far better with, even than water fasting. And it's the opposite is the truth too. I mean, some people do better with water fasting sometimes, but again, I think this is a valuable tool that we're learning more about because of your research that you all are doing. So we appreciate that.
Thank you so much, and we're very excited about where the future heads. At the moment, we're looking for general wellness. You will lose a bunch of weight, as with any fast, mostly visceral fat, so the stuff around your midsection. By day 5, most people get a pretty good boost in energy. In the future, we hope to be able to make some claims, but we're working with the FDA on how we would do that, because they don't like boxes of food right now for their trials. So in the future, I do expect this will be part of everybody's lifestyle. But at the moment, you guys are very much at the forefront. Yeah. We're really excited to be working with you guys. You are definitely one of the very few seasoned fasting groups out there. So
and this is this is new for us, the fasting mimicking diet, but the science is definitely leading us this way. We're excited to have you at our seminar. Again, doctors, you need to be there. It's November 2nd through the 4th, and your colleague, Joseph Anton, will be speaking there and bringing a lot more science that probably they don't even know about yet. So I can't wait to hear it. Yeah,
it's going to be exciting. We're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I did extend the invite to yourself as well. So man, we have like the leaders in fasting at this seminar, and I just absolutely can't wait. But listen, Dr. Jim, we're going to have you on again, maybe even during the fast. We'll bring you on to answer some questions. And you know what? We'll pull that darn split screen off, man. We're going to pull it off.
We'll get it working. I appreciate everybody having patience with me. Sorry I'm so computer illiterate. My apologies.
Me too, man. Can you believe they let us do this? Can you believe that?
I mean, it's amazing that people talk to us. This is wild. So,
what were our teams thinking? Like to put us at this, to pull this off. Anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. Put the two low lifes on the case. I love it. So.
All right, hey, thanks, Ray. I'll let you enjoy your family there, and we're going to bring you on again, Jim. That was well said, very well articulated. Thank you. So appreciate it.
Thank you guys for your time, and I look forward to being back on, and we'll get this sorted out. So thank
All
you
right, we appreciate you. You too. Well, there you have it, right? I mean, awesome stuff, man. I mean, listen, when I say that, like right now, the grants that they're getting are huge. The studies that they're putting out, you know, we as practitioners, I can tell you, we sure appreciate it. And the fact that we have a seminar, you know, we're teaming up with this group, Dr. Jason Fung, the leaders in the world on fasting. You know, no wonder this is the #1 Google search term right now, because it's changing lives. I said, you know, intermittent fasting changed my life, my wife and I's life, and so do these fasts. And I can't wait to do the fasting mimicking diet. So this is a nice box, man, I'll tell you. Anyways, you know, honestly, I want to open up in front of you, and then I'm going to let you go. Let's open up day 1 together. Let's just do this, huh? All right. There's the kale crackers he talked about. What if I just started eating this? Some algae. That sounds good. I was being facetious. Olives. That actually does sound good. Minestrone blend. All right, they're digging into my Italian heritage here. They're trying to make me really. Tomato soup. See, you don't get this on a water fast, I have to admit. Oh, the L Nutra bar. That's probably going to be the biggest treat of the day. Can you believe I can have that on a fast? And hey, the results, according to studies, are, for some people, even better. So let's see. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I've taught partial fasting for years. I just want to be honest. And partial fasting is a little harder for me because I'm a train. When I start eating, I tend not to stop, right? When I water fast, I'm just done. You know, hunger shuts off, I'm done. But that's me. That is not most people. So I think for most people, this is actually going to be easier. You know, I have to say the compliance with the food coming to your house is going to make it go through the roof. So I'm excited to be really part of this and this new stuff. I mean, this is new all over the world. So, hey, we're the first. Well, listen, tomorrow night, diet variation, feast famine concept. This will make any fast that you're doing absolutely easier. You better be on at 6 o'clock Mountain Time. And then the week after that, we're going to talk about all the different fasting options. So stay tuned every Wednesday at 6. And stay tuned because pay attention. We'll put out announcements because we have these specials like this. Make sure you share